Welcome to the Michiana Business Podcast, where we put local legends and businesses in the spotlight for everyone in our area to see. If you love small businesses and success stories, then you're in the right place. You're listening to the Michiana Business Podcast with your friends, hosts, and owners of industrial office cleaning right here in Michiana, Caitlin and Alonzo Perdomo.
Okay. So for my understanding, guys, you guys seeing this, I give the, like, even if you belong to the group and be oh, how did I can refer the other guy? How did I know if he's doing a good job? You can still go and talk to the other people. They refer them and get another evaluation, not just the first person, the second person. And this how you can trust that person, because when you put your name up there, let's say for the heck of it, I want to say Mark is going to replace such a thing in this location, and I seen them, and then he show up and he did a crappy job, and now I'm looking bad.
Yeah.
So in the BNI, you can give referral because they trust you because you do so many jobs for other companies in the area. So that's really good. I thought it was going to be like, okay, here he goes, Mark. I don't know, but it is really cool. And also, how much money do you think a person or business that belong to the group brings a year?
Actually, we do have statistics on that the average member of a BNI chapter generates about $15,000 a year to the chapter each year.
Wow.
And it's kind of, another statistic that's kind of neat is that a visitor one time to a BNI chapter, never joins, just visited once, usually spends between $1,000 and $1,500 in that chapter in the next few months.
Wow.
Just by being exposed to those 20 businesses they didn't know existed or didn't know was available to them. The world's best known marketing secret.
Oh, okay.
So is what it was called. So it's, that's still out there. You can find that book online or on Amazon and all that good stuff. It's out there. And he's written a ton of books about it, all about networking and how it works. But it is a big secret. BNI is a big secret too. Most people don't even know it's available or where to find us. And so this will help a lot. We actually, we're a word of mouth marketing company, and so we don't advertise.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those. We just do it all by word of mouth. So if you think about that, we've got 275,000 members, all word of mouth generated.
270. Wow, that's a lot of referrals.
Yeah, in a lot of different languages too. So,
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that gets big. So it actually is so that's how all the chapters start too, is just invites from members. So and of course we are getting a little more of that being electronic now, that people do find stuff online, or if they're looking for it. I'm sure if you go into any search online and just type in, network marketing companies, you'll find BNI at the top of the list all over.
Wow. So Mark, let me ask you this, because I want to know more about you. How can somebody, let's say a new business, he's hearing you conversation with me, he's pretty interested, and how will you let him know that he can trust you?
That's a good question.
I'm sorry, I think, the spot.
That's been kind of my mission a little bit too, and get involved in BNI to some degree. We talked about that a little earlier too, as I wanted to get involved in it, and actually got exposed to it in Toledo with another company I was working with, and found out about what it was. And if anybody's listened to any sales training over the years, and I've date myself a little bit, sales training tapes, so
yeah.
I guess they've got a little more sophisticated than that. But almost anybody you listen to, whether it be Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, all the big guys in there, somewhere in that sales training tape or series says to get involved in a lead swap group.
Okay.
And then they give you about 5 minutes on how to do that. Have lunch with other salespeople and trade leads. And we, with our other company, we tried to do that for years, and it just never worked. I think typically we make 3 calls, got 3 no's, and that's all the rejection we could handle. So we gave up. So we'd end up. So I went to a BNI meeting in Toledo, Ohio, and this is what we've been trying to do. This is great. How do we do it?
Yeah.
And so I came back to get people in chapters, and there weren't any.
Oh, okay.
And so I was talking to Dr. Miser back then. Back when I got involved in '95, there were 400 chapters.
400. Wow.
Yeah. So I've been real busy starting those other 10,000. So
wow.
But it's and so he actually, in order to start a chapter in a community, they needed to have a director.
Okay.
What they called was a director, which what I am now. But and so I volunteered to do that back then, thinking that'd be a good idea, and it was. a great idea. So it kind of just kind of spiraled from there. And we kind of joke about that on our chapter names. We named them after the first towns we started them in. We have a South Bend chapter because that was the first one we did here in South Bend. And now we've got 7 chapters in South Bend and Mishawaka, so we have to name them something different. But that was my big vision back there. I had no idea it was going to get this big.
That is awesome.
We've got 21 chapters and people keep forming them, which is great.
So let me refresh this question. How many businesses do you hope in your career through this process? How many that you can think in top of your head? Because believe it or not, you've been there for those businesses. You've been bringing in clients. You've been helping out with meeting with different people, brought all the revenue to them. And this is the opportunity for other people to come and join and be part of this. And you can help them too. Yeah. It's really, really powerful, guys. I'm serious. It's not because I belong to one, but it's a lot of money to make. It's a lot of, it's not about money. It's also about how to trust, how much help that you're going to give, how much help that you're going to help other people to get there where they need. Because some businesses are struggling, some businesses not, but you never know when you're going to help somebody. So can you tell us how many people you've been holding their hands and helping out?
Actually, with our director team here in Northern Indiana, we've probably, right now our membership is right around 400.
Wow.
In Northern Indiana. And unfortunately, we do lose members over the years too. Okay. And some, which is by attrition, it's always going to happen. Yeah. Some good, some bad.
Yep.
So yeah, I would guess we're a couple thousand over the last, 15 years, 20 years. So yeah.
Wow. Do you hear that, guys? How many people they can trust him? If you cannot trust because you hear that number, what else can we do? And it's no pressure to come and join to the group. It's just because you have to be the one that want it. Let me use this story. And I know it sounds so silly, guys, but when you want something, let's say you are in the couch sitting down watching a movie or whatever you have to do, and you are not hungry, and somebody call you while your wife come over and say, hey, can you come and eat? And you are not hungry. You don't want to get up and go eat. You're going to I'll go eat later, right? So it's the same thing when you there, but you are hungry and your wife is like, hey, honey, it's ready to go eat. Time to go eat. You could get up right away and go sit down at the table, right? Because you are hungry. It's the same thing with the BNI. If you hungry to give more business, if you hungry to help other people to grow their business, it's the right place to come. But it's no magic. You have to do work hard.
A little work in the ball, yeah. One of the other things too that we run into a little bit is even if you're pretty busy and you've got a full book of business now, and you don't see where to go with it, you can actually take your C, drop your C customers and replace them with A customers. Well, we're always rating our customers a little bit. And actually, one of the gentlemen said that today at the meeting that he's got some customers he'd like to fire and replace. He's busy enough, but he doesn't have a lot of fun with the third of them. So it's kind of one of those things. You can always increase the customer base that you've got with better customers, if you will.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm sorry to get you out because it's very interesting that part. Like I'm really interested and excited about that part because you deal with customers that give you a headache, they stress you out. You don't even want to go serve them. But when you have the right customer, they value your service, value your time, value the things that you brought to them, and they're like, I don't care. Here's the cash. Here's because I know what is the value you bring. It's so powerful, guys. If you belong through this group, you're gonna find the right clients, and I think you're gonna be able to I don't want to work for this guy. It's driving me crazy. Yeah. You can fire them, and you replace them with an A customer. So that's very powerful. Right?
Yeah, it really does work well. You get the good customers and good friends you make, and actually get to work with them too. So
that is,
a lot of times we'll have one of the things that are kind of interesting too is we'll have somebody visit a BNI chapter and say, well, I don't think these people sit around the table are my customers, and they may not be. That you're not trying to sell your chapter members. You might, depending on what your business is, but you don't want to look at the 25 people sitting in the room and say, well, I need to sell these 25 people. You want to meet the 200 people that each of those people know.
Wow.
So you actually, when you start talking about that, you just end up with a huge number of people you might get introduced to at the right person at the right time. Yep. And make it happen. So, one of the things that are kind of interesting, it's an old story that happened here in Northern Indiana. We had a contractor visit a BNI meeting, brand new to the business, and really didn't have the money to join the BNI chapter right then. He never told his wife this, and hopefully they won't connect who I'm talking about.
They won't find out. We'll keep it quiet.
Yeah, but he actually took the money he was going to go pay his mortgage with that month and joined BNI.
Wow.
And
that's a lot of risk.
and made enough money back in BNI that month to pay the mortgage in time.
Wow.
So it's kind of, I mean, he likes to tell that story, and it's kind of interesting. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, for sure. Sleeping outside and fighting with the wife. Wow.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. But I mean, that's kind of some of the stuff when people see, if they've been looking for the right thing and this is the right thing for them, they want to get involved right away. And because of that, I mean, when we get involved in a new chapter or a chapter you're visiting, is once we bring on that financial planner, we quit inviting financial planners. You'll be the last one, so everybody else is locked out. So that's kind of the urgency reason to get involved in the BNI chapter, is to make sure you save your seat, that kind of thing. So, and the other thing that people look at is almost in a scarcity rather than abundance, is they think that getting somebody close to their business will take business away from them, when actually it'll help them. We've had particularly the insurances, we'll have that. We do break that category down into about 3 or 4 different categories of insurance, and make sure that works. A great story on that is we had a property casualty insurance agent that also sold life insurance in the chapter. And we had a life insurance agent come in and want to join. And he didn't think that'd be a good idea because he sold life insurance too.
Oh,
But but they went ahead and let him in. And the life insurance agent only sold life.
oh, okay.
And so every time he'd go out and sell a life insurance policy, they'd say, well, can you insure my car and home too? He said, nobody, got a good friend that can.
Oh,
And so this guy that didn't want to bring him in the chapter brought him about 10 to 15 referrals every week
wow.
on people that wanted to buy property casualty insurance that he couldn't sell them.
Wow.
So it's some of the things like that are great stories in BNI and how it works. Some of the people that do things similar to yours, but not exactly what you want to do. I mean, like with you, Alonzo, you don't do residential work.
No, no, we don't. We just
so,
specific in this commercial. I'm sorry.
So a residential cleaner would probably be a good referral source for you if they don't do commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just makes a lot of sense to get some close partners as well as distant partners too. And you'll find that the realtor can help almost everybody in a chapter that's doing things, because all the different things they get asked by the new homeowner. But typically, the knowledge of what everybody does in the chapter and who they're looking for is really what makes it happen. So,
that is awesome. So let me ask you this. Let's say I'm showing up to the group the first time, like I'm over. Are you going to try to sell me, or you don't even put pressure on the person? How is that for a new people coming in? Do you guys put pressure in it? What do you do?
So once we get your arm out from behind your back,
that hurt.
We let you go. Actually, no, there's no pressure in it. I mean, we give you an opportunity to fill out an application if you want to, and lock out your competition. If you don't want to do that today, that's fine. Think about it. But the downside of that is, if you want to be a member of BNI, well, let me think about that for a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, we get another member come in and take your seat. And you come in as, I'd like to do it now. I'm sorry, that seat's filled.
Nice.
So that's about the only pressure, and it's yours only. We don't do it. It's kind of, if you want the seat, get it. It's kind of, don't wait. So it's kind of one of those obvious things. Yeah.
In other words, it's like, guys, if you guys see the value that this team is bringing to you, why wait for? I mean, sometimes it's one of the things that everybody holds back, and I mean, in general, everybody wait to decide. Let's use simple in a restaurant. In a restaurant, they give you this menu. And you take like half an hour to decide what you're gonna eat. And then you chose that food, and it just still worse. You don't like the food, and like, what the heck? I spent 30 minutes wasting trying to pick up my food. Just pick something, decide it, and just move forward. If you see the value. If you don't see the value, don't decide it. Because I'm gonna tell you decide, and then you're gonna be, well, you told me to decide. Well, you had to use your knowledge sense and be like, this is good for me, or it's not good.
Yeah.
Decide fast.
Yeah. So the other thing we talk about all the time at BNI is, excuse me, the size of the chapter makes a huge difference too in the number of referrals. I mean, typically a chapter of 35 is nice, and they pass a lot of referrals and keep the agenda moving just perfectly. But a bigger chapter will pass more referrals. So if you're a chapter of 20 and you're passing 50 referrals a month, if you double the chapter, you'll triple the referrals.
Okay.
So I know we had a chapter here in South Bend that was at 72 at one time. They had 72 members. And so that gives you, that's a good meeting. And they still get done in an hour and a half. But when they're that size, they passed about 125 referrals a week.
Wow. Do you guys hear that?
That's a lot of business.
You hear that cha-ching number?
Yeah.
Do you hear the money coming in? That's very powerful.
Yeah. But here's the sad part of that is they decided not to take their foot off the accelerator and not grow anymore.
Oh, okay.
So the natural attrition happened.
Yeah.
And they dropped back down to 46 members.
Oh, wow.
And now they pass 37 referrals a week.
Wow.
So they went from 125 to 37 by cutting the chapter in half.
Wow.
So it's just a matter of, so we're continually growing the chapters all the time and adding more members. It just makes sense. It's kind of like putting one lightning rod out in the field or 20 of them.
Yeah.
If you got one out there, you might get hit. If you got 20, you're bound to get hit. So.
Yeah, for sure. So in other words, guys, I think this BNI group is really powerful, guys. I think if you guys don't take advantage of it, somebody else is going to do it, and who better to take you the advantage of this group? I mean, it's really powerful. I see the fruit and the long run, and you can see it instantly. Like today in our meeting, somebody's about to already lock in with a client that might be get the business for the client. So it's really powerful. So Mark, tell me a little bit about yourself, like why you recommend this group. And I know you already say it, but in many different words, but yeah. Why is it so powerful?
I think it's just, it's all about the relationships. As much as we'd like to say, you just come in the room and you're going to make all kinds of money. If ever that, we wouldn't be bothering the podcast. We'd just be sitting there with our wheelbarrow money, right? So it's one of those. So, I mean, you come in and you put in the network and get to know people, know, like, and trust them to where you can actually build that. Plus everybody becomes good friends too.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a lot of good friends in BNI. And actually some really big relationships. Another story that happened to this, we had a gentleman in a South Bend chapter get a referral to somebody he'd never met before.
Okay.
To do some business with him. And those two became such good friends. The BNI member actually passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
And the contact was the executive of his estate.
Whoa.
That they got to be that good of friends just from a BNI referral, and so actually kind of a buzzword in BNI is that one of the neat things about BNI is all the members become friends.
Yeah.
One of the bad things about BNI is all the members become friends. and what that means is we're not holding each other accountable anymore.
Oh.
This is a business relationship and not a club. So in a club you can be happy and friendly and I don't care if you show up or not. And this is different. We actually ask you to be here and perform. We're a business relationship and not a family or a neighborhood type relationship. So it really makes it work. But obviously you're gonna have friends, that come out of it as well. So
yeah, but you have those boundaries. I mean, it's really cool. Like you say, everybody comes friend. Everybody guys hold hands and help each other, and then in the long run, it comes like part of the second family because they help each other. But you always kind of tell them, hey, let's keep the boundaries. Like, hey, we have to continue growing. We have to continue to do our stuff because we are friends, but we have to keep pushing for the goals that we have. Okay?
Right.
So let's kind of wrap it up. Can you tell us where we can find you again? Because I forgot already. I don't know. Maybe people listen to us.
Take notes. So
yeah,
flashed across the screen. Actually, it's actually the easiest way is bni-ni.com. And then, of course, my cell number is 574-535-3310. And then, go Google anything BNI and you'll pop up all over the place. You may be in Northern Ireland, but you'll at least find some BNI members. And, the other thing that's gotten different over BNI over the years that I've been involved is we've gotten real electronic.
Okay.
And so for a long time, we talked about when we pass a referral, we had a referral slip. It was actually an NCR paper, so you could actually have 3 copies of it.
Okay.
And you'd hand that out during the meeting, which is kind of neat in that you actually saw the referral being passed.
Oh, okay.
And now that's all done electronically on a BNI app, and I can send you a referral right now on the phone. And give you the name, the information, and you can actually respond to it and tell us what's happened with it. So it's really kind of neat on what they're doing. That's really not my cup of tea, but I understand it works well.
Awesome.
So it's I'd rather write it on a slip and give it to you.
Yeah, for sure.
or call you. We used to just call each other, which was kind of nice, but anymore we text and send things on an app. So
yeah, we got to adapt to this new generation.
Yeah, that's right. And it's working. It's working.
That's the whole thing. I mean, it's working and it's improving, and you guys don't stuck in the 50s or 80s. You guys continue improving the group.
Yeah.
You guys still bring the good data, the new technology to help everybody. Because when you start, let's say a beginner business, they start running a business that doesn't have a lot of, in my experience, I didn't have too much how to use the technology, email and all that stuff, apps and your phone, and send all the talk to over the computer like we're doing right now. It's really powerful when you get all those hope and then keep it up with it and the new
Yeah,
stuff coming
I
up.
think one of the biggest, accomplishments of BNI happened was during the pandemic. Once we, one of the nice things about being in the meeting business, continue on, just don't have meetings. That works well. So, so from the first time we had the lockdown, it took 3 weeks for BNI to get totally on Zoom accounts. So BNI bought 10,000 Zoom business accounts. In the first 3 weeks. I wish I owned stock in that.
Yeah.
But and so we were all online for that whole year, and we had online meetings that were okay. They're okay. That they sure don't replace the in-person meetings where we actually sit there and look at each other and shake hands and talk. So that's a whole different thing. But I was really impressed with what they did with that, and it kind of saved the organization really. Yeah. I've heard of some organizations that met like that were dogged for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Never did meet and that kind of thing. So I had heard of, I'm sure a lot of clubs were that way.
Yeah.
But we're in it for business, so we had to be something.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference. So.
And it's neat that you guys right away, like kind of that, like, okay, what can we do to continue helping the business? How can we continue bringing referrals to the other person that might be really hurt right now in the pandemic? And you guys jump right away and okay, let's go to Zoom. Let's continue doing the meetings, because if you know meetings, we will die the refers and the other person will get hurt. I mean, a lot of people got hurt, and then
real bad. So
so that's really neat that you guys always thinking ahead how to improve, how to help the people. That's what we do.
We got a big staff. The headquarters down in North Carolina now in Charlotte, and I got a big staff there that is the world headquarters, and they got satellite offices in some other countries and things. So it's a good organization. They run it well and stay in touch with everybody too. So, and actually learning that Zoom format was kind of nice for people like me that had never done it before. Yeah. And now we have quite a few Zoom meetings. There are some places that it works well. Awesome. Opposed to trying to get better in person. But again, kind of some of the tragedies turn into to good things as well. But
it's always at the beginning, everything that goes bad, you're always like, oh shoot, it's gonna go down. But it's always a good positive thing coming out of the bad things. And the only thing is like continue growing, improving, and look forward to continue learning. So it's really powerful. So let's kind of wrap it up. I'm going to ask three questions, well, 6 altogether, I think. So something that you can, I know you run a business, 3 things that you can recommend to people not to do so you don't get hurt in the business, and how to prevent that.
Actually, I love this quote. I take credit for it. I was interviewed one time. I've been in business for 46 years. And they said, well, what kind of words of encouragement would you give a brand new entrepreneur?
Yep.
And I said, if you need words of encouragement, don't become an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's really straight.
You're kind of there on your own, and you're not going to get a lot. If you're an entrepreneur, a lone practitioner, you're not going to get a lot of praise anymore. So, So again, I mean that's one of the things that actually we talked about that a little earlier. Just be real and be honest. It's got to be the easiest thing you can do in business, and don't try to do something you're not able to do. Typically, the old saying is, under promise and over deliver.
Yep.
I just promise and do what you say you're going to do. That's pretty easy. The other thing too, that one of the things that really is a pet peeve of mine, and in the meeting business and trying to call people and get some information, is return your phone calls.
Oh, they never call me. Oh, well, you never return the call.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, that's one of the things for sure.
Okay, so let me ask you. There's 3 questions that I have in mind. What is your favorite book to recommend to people to learn about business, or you can recommend like, okay, this book I will recommend? I know you mentioned it earlier, but some of the favorite ones you're like, I need to hold this like anything else, because I know I can learn so much from the business.
Actually, probably one of the good ones is the E-Myth by Gerber. It's called the E-Myth. And he's got several different books. And it's it talks, the main thing that he stresses in that is the entrepreneurial myth is don't work in your business, work on your business.
Wow. You hear that, guys? Can you repeat that? Work
on your business, not in it. So if you're a plumber, you'd be better off owning a hair studio. That way you can't work in your business,
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, you have to manage your business rather than work in it. So that's always been a good book, I think. And as far as sales books go, all of Tom Hopkins heroes really helped us a ton in our businesses and stuff. And And, people talk, well, I'm not a salesman, people are natural born salesmen and they're not, any more than
Yeah.
a natural born doctor. Anything else that it's all learned, so it's a matter of just reading this stuff. So it's kind of, a couple of good business books are those and kind of the ones I go to all the time for reference and stuff. So
that is awesome, guys. You remember those books. He has a lot of wisdom, and I think he's telling it true because I can tell he has a lot of experience behind. So let me ask you this. What restaurant is your favorite in downtown South Bend or Mishawaka that you recommend people to go there? Just in case if you go, oh, I want to go meet Mark. Maybe run into him there.
That's right. One of the ones that I hit quite a bit is the Uptown Kitchen.
Uptown Kitchen.
I like that little place. That's nice for lunch, and I think only breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
That's a nice restaurant for that. Actually, downtown Elkhart would be Antonio's.
Antonio's.
Elkhart,
I hear about that.
Antonio's Italian Restaurante.
Yep.
Paul, the owner there, Paul Cataldo, was a BNI member for years.
Okay.
And with the new labor shortage and not being able to get help anywhere, he had to drop out of BNI and just go to work. So
wow.
I know, but he does a great job. So
awesome. That is good. Okay, what are you doing? You pastime? What is Mark doing? Time off and
I'm missing the tea time right now.
Oh, shoot.
I play a lot of golf. I live on the lakes. We do some boating and pretty much golf and boating takes up most of my time.
Awesome.
And it's kind of fun. I play golf with my 3 sons all the time, so that works for us on family days too. So,
wow, I play golf. I think twice with my my other group that I belong to. I never hold that, and it looks like you watch on TV, like, oh, it's all same.
It's so easy, yeah.
Well, and you try it, you're like, whoa, I can even hit the ball. So
we've got to figure that out. That golf can't be that intelligent game, and the goal is to play the least of it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead, Mark.
No, that's fine. That's again, if you want to get involved with BNI, just check us out on the web at bni.com or bni-ni.com, and you can find us there real easily. My information is listed as long as with everybody else involved in the organization. So, all right. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's great to have you here in the show. Maybe we can do some other time, one more time, and we talk about different points that you probably have more information up there.
Sure.
We don't have enough time to talk all about it. It can take years to talk about BNI.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to download the podcast, Michiana Business Podcast. And if you love the stories in your neighborhood, like what's going on in Michiana or Elkhart or in the area, sign in into the podcast and share what you do, what you offer. And don't forget this is sponsored by Industrial Office Cleaning. And if you need your cleaning or disinfected, don't forget to call 574-310-7782. And to the next one, guys.
Very good. Thank you so much.
If you're in the Michiana area and would like to have us put your business or story out there for everyone to hear, sign up at michianabusinesspodcast.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.